What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Pass. That's Play Action Snap Scouting. And in today's video, we're going to celebrate Valentine's Day by doing another NFL mock draft video for the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have some key needs at quarterback, receiver, guard, and potentially cornerback. However, they do have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, and we're going to use all 5 picks to turn this team around and get them back to playoff contention. So Miami Dolphins fans, are you ready? Let's start the draft. Okay, at pick number 11, the Miami Dolphins are on the clock. And honestly, you could pick either cornerback, in my opinion. I think both of them would be really great options for the Miami Dolphins. Gerard McCoy might be the best cornerback, but he did have an injury that ruled him out for the whole year. Mansour Delane from LSU, they produce high-quality DBs at the NFL level all the time and really highly graded. I think he'd be a great addition to the Miami Dolphins secondary, and that's a really great value pick in the first round. With our second round pick, this is where things get a little interesting. So you could go a couple different ways. You could go best player available. You could go player of need. I know that it's tough. It's tough because I feel like the Miami Dolphins might not necessarily need a safety, but there's some good safeties there at that spot. This could be potentially a good trade down spot as well. So with that being said, I think Eli Stowers is actually a really good tight end. He could add some depth and value. He's my number 2 tight end. I feel like he's really, really high on boards, and he's going to be a really great player at the NFL level. So that's an option as well. Let's take Eli Stowers. Let's get the tight end. I know the draft position, the value might not be there, but when you have 5 picks, you can play with it a little bit, right? You have some room for error and to reach maybe on some guys that you normally wouldn't take. So in the 3rd round, here's where it gets a little interesting, okay? Because we have 3 third-round picks. Trinidad Chambliss is sitting there in the 3rd round. I don't think he's going to last to the 3rd round. I actually think he'll probably go earlier. However, I don't think you can pass up on that. I think that's a guy that you need to probably really consider taking. And, I think he'd be a really great addition. He could sit behind Tua. He can do a lot of similar stuff that Tua can. I feel like they're kind of similar players in that way. I feel comfortable taking them there. I think Miami Dolphins, you would be really happy to have a quarterback like that can come in, sit, and really grow and develop as a player. And then with our second third-round pick, okay, here's where it gets a little interesting too. Jake Slaughter is there, and I know a lot of you Miami Dolphins fans are going to know who Jake Slaughter is just because he played for Florida. And guard is a position of need. Now he plays center, but can we kick him into guard? Can we switch things around? Can we maybe move a guard or one of our centers to guard? Like, how can we make this fit, right? Because he's actually a really good player. I feel like that would be a really great option as well. So let's take a shot on Jake Slaughter. I think that's an option. And then with our final pick, we got to get a receiver. We got to. And Malachi Fields actually tore it up at the Senior Bowl. He's a guy that's going to be on people's radars for sure. He's 6'4", 222, really solid hands. He'd be a guy that you can really bring in and be that big body receiver next to, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So to wrap it up, we get Malachi Fields, and that will be our final pick. Now it's grading the draft. Let's see what grade they gave us. All right, so with our first pick at pick number 11, we took cornerback from LSU, Mansour Delane. They gave us an A with that. And then in round 2, pick number 43, we got tight end Eli Stowers. They gave us a C. They didn't really like it. I think there's probably some other guys that they probably preferred. I still think that's a pretty solid pick in my opinion. Round 3, pick number 75, we got quarterback Trinidad Chambliss. They give us an A. Could be your franchise quarterback there. And then at round 3, pick number 87, we took center Jake Slaughter. kind of fell a little bit, and we took him because he was there in our laps. Gave us a B, and then rounded up with our fifth pick, our round 3 pick, our third round pick, but 5th overall. We took receiver Malachi Fields, and they gave us an A. And overall, they gave us an A-. So, Miami Dolphins fans, NFL fans, what would you give this grade? Would you give it an A? Would you give it anything lower? Was there a pick that you didn't like, or there was a pick that you really liked? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more NFL draft content. And stay tuned for our next NFL mock draft, where we will be doing a NFL mock draft for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Here we go.